Hello and welcome to the Batcave. I'm your host, BlindBat8719. On today's video, I'm going to go over my Emergent Ultimatum Brawl Deck. I had gotten inspired to build this deck from Standard. I was playing a deck built around Emergent Ultimatum, which is a card. Actually, I'm just going to go over and read it now, actually. Emergent Ultimatum. It's from Ikoria, Lair of Bahamut's. It costs 2 black, 3 green, 2 blue. So black, black, green, 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 blue, blue, total 7 mana. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Exile Emergent Ultimatum. Like I was saying in a previous video of mine, I love the cascade mechanic and the idea of being able to cast spells for free. So Emergent Ultimatum basically lets me search out 3 cards, and I get to get 2 of them for free. Kind of creates a little bit of a mini game between me and my opponent of what cards can I come up with, what combination of cards can I come up with that will either entice him to give me what I want, or are no-win scenarios for my opponent. So this is the deck in Standard that I've been playing with this as the focus, would ramp up to this and usually go for, say, 2 Planeswalkers and a Plain-White Celebration, a Plain-White Celebration, a Planeswalker, and Cure Best the Sea God. Some combination of cards that just do not have a favorable outcome for my opponent. So since the deck is built around these colors, it doesn't really matter who my commander was that I chose. I went with Yarok, Yarok the Desecrated. He's from M20, which is about to rotate in the fall. He costs 2 generic, black, green, and blue. Is a legendary creature, elemental horror. Death Touch and Lifelink. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. I kind of picked him because I figured he was just a better value legendary creature to build to not necessarily build around, but to be the colors for this deck, because it needs these 3 colors. I believe I only know the Godzilla version, but there is a legendary creature from Ikoria that I could have used as well, and I probably will switch over to that creature as my commander once rotation happens. Since this deck is built around Emergent Ultimatum, which came out in Ikoria, it will be around post-rotation, and I do intend on rebuilding this deck up with the pieces that I will lose once the rotation happens. Just because I think the concept of Emergent Ultimatum with searching for different monocolor cards and figuring out the best combination to offer my opponent will still be playable post-rotation, and I just can't wait to see what new monocolor cards will come up in Ikoria that I would want to overwhelm my opponent with. So let's go over the mana ramp I chose for the deck. I tried to do more mana ramp, again, because the deck that this was based off in Standard had a lot of ramp, so I tried to emulate that a bit. Starting off with the Paradise Druid, has Hexproof as long as it's untapped, add 1 of mana of any color. And she has a hexproof creature when she's untapped. Sorry, I just said that. So she's a good 2 mana accelerant. Wolf Willow Haven. This is one. It's an aura and enchants a land from Theros Beyond Death. Not something I normally play as mana ramp in my decks, but again, this was something that was inspired from the Standard deck. The Standard version would play this card, so I figured if the Standard deck's playing and I want to copy that, I'm going to put it in here. Arcane Signet. I'm a multicolored brawl deck. I of course want to play Arcane Signet in this deck. It's almost like another Paradise Druid. It lets me add any one of the colors that I might be missing to cast my Emergent Ultimatum. Cultivate. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards. Put 1 onto the battlefield tap and the other to your hand. Then shuffle your library for 2 and a green. This is again it's mana ramp. It puts you up 1 and gives you another card in your hand. Circuitous Route and Migration Path basically do the same thing for the same cost, 3 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, tap, and shuffle your library. Migration Path has the alternate ability of me cycling it for 2 generic mana. Or Circuitous Route, his other thing is that it lets me search for gates, and in like my previous video, this is a 3-color deck. So with my 3-color decks, I prefer to play with the gates that are in those colors with Plaza of Harmony functioning as another command tower if I have 2 gates out on the battlefield. This next row is a hybrid of card draw and ramp. So I'm playing Growth Spiral. This recently got banned in Standard, so it shows you that it's a powerful card, and if they let us play powerful cards in Brawl, we should play them. So green and a blue, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It's an instant, so that's usually something we'll be trying to do on turn 2 if it's in our hand. Llanowar Visionary, it's 2 and a green for a 2/2 Elf Druid. When Llanowar Visionary enters the battlefield, draw a card, and you can tap it to add a green. This is a ramp card that was the decision. It wasn't in the standard deck, but since I was starting to play Yarok, and this is a new card from M21, it does work well with Yarok as an enter the battlefield effect that will let me draw 2 cards, so I thought it would be a good inclusion to have in the deck. So this way I either play it early for ramp, or I could have it later in the game. If I draw him, Yarok's out, I can draw 2 cards. Of course, I'm playing Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. It's it's a generic mana, green and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you escaped. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, and it has an escape clause of green, green, blue, blue, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Again, just some early card draw with ramp. Solemn Simulacrum is a 4 generic costing artifact creature golem. It's a 2/2. When he enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library, and then when he dies, he draws you a card. And the expensive ramp card of the Great Henge, 7 green, green, legendary artifact that costs X less to cast, or X generic less to cast, where X is equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. You can tap it, gain 2 life, and add 2 green, and when non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. These are just our straight draw spells in my opinion. So Rain and Revelation, it's an instant for 3 and a blue, draw 3 cards and discard a card. And Clackbridge Troll. Again, this to me is a fun pet card. It does have a few combos in here to make it an interesting sort of board wipe. So it's a troll with trample and haste. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3 0/1 white goat creature tokens. At the beginning of combat on my turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If that player does, tap the troll, gain 3 life and draw a card, and he's an 8/8. So he's something I'm going to want to combo off with, usually with Massacre Wurm or with Massacre Girl. But I'll go into that a little bit more in depth later. So now into my removal suite, I'm playing Eliminate, which is a 1 and a black for an instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less. This I put in primarily to deal with Teferi, the 3-cost Teferi that just got banned in Standard, and I believe is about to be banned in Historic. He also is now, and I know he just got banned in Brawl, but I feel like this is still a good enough card for early removal for certain creatures. There are still some commanders that are cost 3 or less that I've gotten, like Keenan, for example. There are definitely enough planeswalkers that cost 3 or less that I think this is worth having still. So I'm keeping it in for right now as one of my pieces of removal. Swift End Murderous Strider. Swift End is the kills version. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life for 1 generic and 2 black, which is an instant adventure. And then I can cast a creature half for 1 and 2 black for lifelink, and then when Murderous Rider dies, put at the bottom of the owner's library. Taste of Death is a little weird. I'm calling it removal almost as like pinpoint removal, because it does your opponent only sacrificing 3. Some board states it's a wipe, some board states it's removal. This when I remember when I was building the deck for when I was copying the deck for Standard, I didn't build it. They had some copies in there which I thought were interesting. But I thought interesting is good, and I liked it, so I carried it over into this build of the deck. The food tokens have been helpful at times when trying to regain some life. Later on, it helps us better use our mana if there's nothing else going on. Kogla, the Titan Ape. This is another card that I have a soft spot for. He's 3 generic green, green, green. Legendary creature Ape. When Golgari Titan Ape enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature you don't control, and when he attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. He's a 7/6, and he has another ability that says 1 in generic and a green, return target human you control to its owner's hand. Golgari gains indestructible end of turn. He to me is just it's another fight card that I can search for, another creature removal that I can look for that stays on the battlefield if he doesn't fight anything too big. And if I pair him up with Agent of Treachery, who is a human, I can constantly bounce the agent to my hand to both give Golgari indestructible, make him indestructible, and then recast the Agent of Treachery to steal another thing. Yes, Agent of Treachery, big bag boogeyman of the format at times. But he's powerful, something we should probably play if we have it. And this is a card that when you search for it with Emergent Ultimatum, you definitely you're almost always not going to get the agent. So it's something that you can think about, that if you want the other two, other two cards, you can create a 3-card combo where you can say, I want this 2-card combo, or you're going to give me an Agent of Treachery, and I'm just going to copy whatever, I'm just going to steal what's on your side of the field, and do you want me to do that? So that can definitely be, he's powerful, he's good, and you're most likely not going to get him if you choose it as an option for Emergent Ultimatum. These 2 cards are Planeswalkers. These fall under the category of card draw and removal. Liliana Dreadhorde General, for generic, black, has a static ability of whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. This comes in with 6 loyalty. +1 ability, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. -4 ability, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. She is one of our win conditions. Her paired up with a plane-wide celebration where you proliferate 3 or 4 times, you can win the game sometimes on the spot by denying your opponent basically any resources, because their lands will go from however many they had down to 1. The other planeswalker we have, one of the other planeswalkers I have is Garruk, Cursed Huntsman, for 4 generic, black-green, a 0 ability, create 2 black-green and black and green wolf creature tokens. When this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garruk you control. -3, destroy target creature, draw a card. -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +3/+3 and have trample. While I can't search for Garruk, Cursed Huntsman with Emergent Ultimatum, I'm in these colors, and he is a card that I enjoy playing with. I think he's a fun card to play with. If he's something too that if I have him out, I think he does good enough for the deck, and he probably falls more on playing him because he's a Planeswalker, which are powerful cards. This is my colors, and I always want to try to play multicolor cards in multicolor decks when I can, because I can't always play them. And now on to my board wipes. I am trying out Pestilent Haze. One generic black, choose one. All creatures get -2/-2 on end of turn. Remove 2 loyalty counters from each planeswalker. There's a couple -2/-2 options in format right now. Pestilent Haze. I know there's one from one of the Ravnica sets that I think it's Cry of the Carnarium that will exile the creatures. I believe there's another one maybe in Ikoria. They all kind of do different things. This is the newest one, so I want to give this version a try. I just want to have like an early board wipe, just that won't necessarily maybe kill everything I have, or it would just at least mess with my opponents if they have some early play drops that are on the smaller side. Extinction Event, 3 generic and a black, choose odd or even. Exile each creature with chromatic cost of the chosen value. Again, it's a board wipe in black. You do have to be a little careful about, make sure what the converted mana cost of what your opponent has. Sometimes you get lucky and everything's the same, or it's mostly the same, odd or even. Sometimes it's not, so you have to decide what's worth exiling, but that's one of the benefits of this one, is that it exiles those creatures, which can be relevant in some matchups. Ritual of Soot, destroy all creatures converted mana cost 3 or less. There are cards that cost less than 3 mana that have a toughness greater than 2, so this kind of helps us in those situations. Massacre Girl, She's one that I've been playing with when War of the Spark came out, and she, again, is just another fun card. And again, it's a little mini game of, is there enough creatures out there for me to kind of wipe everything out? And with it being -1/-1, it helps get around creatures that are indestructible. So they try to, like, Heroic Intervention, make their creatures indestructible. This will get around that and still kill them. She also has Menace and a 4/4 body, which are relevant stats and abilities. Massacre Wurm. This is another one that just got reprinted in M21. It's 3 generic, black, black, black. When Massacre Wurm enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. So this is definitely a card. I like playing it. It's a nice little mini board wipe on the smaller end of things. Or again, if you dealt damage to a bigger creature, and then it has damage marked on it, and all you need is 2 more, this will finish it off. And then the added thing that even beyond the initial -2/-2, on subsequent turns, if a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life, is still a relevant ability. So this keeps working and dealing damage to our opponent after the initial impact on the board. And this will, it pairs with a couple other cards in the deck that I will go over in a second. And then here's everything else that kind of helps out with the deck that I think does work in the deck. So I put in, whoopsies, I have a Grim Tutor to help me find my Emergent Ultimatum. It seems kind of silly to have a tutor for a tutor, but I wanted to have a little more consistency in the deck, and so since I had a green tutor in the deck, I figured, and then since Wizards have made a point of trying to minimize the amount of things that tutor, when they do decide to print one, it is, especially at this cost, it's possibly worthwhile to get it. Later on, we have some cards that are cheap enough, or again, we're going to ramp pretty heavily. So it's not uncommon for us to get to 7, 8, 9 mana, where we can use Grim Tutor to find something that's 6 or less and cast that on the same turn. Or we can use this as a setup. Since with black tutors, you typically you just search for a card, and nothing with special characteristics like you would in some of the other colors. Like blue is instant sorcery sometimes, green is like creatures. So you have to reveal those cards to show your opponent that you did search for a card that has that characteristic. Since Grim Tutor just says you search your library for a card, you don't have to reveal to your opponent because you're just showing them I search for a card. Spark Doubles in the deck. It's another card that works well with Yarok the Desecrated because of the... actually, no, I messed that up. It doesn't work so much well with Yarok, other than maybe getting the additional +1/+1 counter, the loyalty counter. So that's how I work on my way of making it work with Yarok. But this is another card that, if I were to search for Emergent Ultimatum that works with combos of an extra two creatures in the Spark Double, 2 Planeswalkers in Spark Double, it lets me get 2 copies of the same thing, which I will go into the combos a little bit later, but it definitely lets me double up your pleasure and double up your fun. Facet Deep Dwelling. This one also works with, again, thinking along where Yarok works around, enter the battlefield effects, getting multiple uses out of them. A lot of my creatures that I have in the deck do have enter the battlefield effects that I would want to use multiple times, so Thos is in here for me to get more value out of those effects. Her tap ability can also be relevant either for tapping down a blocker, so you can go in for the kill, or tapping down some hard to block attackers from my opponent. Garruk Unleashed. This wasn't at all in the standard build, but I gotten a copy recently, and I'm like, I'm playing a green deck. I think it'd be fun to be able to search up another monocolored Planeswalker to use in the deck. I have a Teferi, but I feel like in this deck, Teferi, I'm not feeling like playing him in this deck. I think that might be the simplest way to explain it. Garruk, however, so he's 2 generic, green, comes in with 4 loyalty, +1. Up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. -2, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garruk Unleashed. And -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. This is really why I'm playing Garruk, his ultimate. This is one where if you present to your opponent him, Liliana, and the Plain White Celebration, I'll go into that combo a little bit, and you ultimate really quick, they're either going to give you 2 Planeswalkers, or you're going to you're either going to get 2 Planeswalkers, or you're going to get a Planeswalker ultimate, essentially. And this will let me start searching out creatures like Massacre Wurm if I want to start, dealing a lot of damage with their small creatures. Agent of Treachery to start sealing some things. Kagla to hit something and maybe start attacking, giving you a chance to attack with him next turn and destroy artifacts. Again, I can get a Massacre Girl if I want to do a board wipe of some sorts. If I want to get some beef onto the battlefield, I can get a Clackbridge Troll out. Spark Double, Thassa to start blinking things in and out. So it's definitely an ultimate that's powerful. Shark Typhoon was a card that was in the standard version of the deck. It's a good card that we're a deck that has a lot of non-creature spells. Some of them are on the bigger side, like the Great Henge, that if we are able to get a Shark Typhoon landed and cast more spells, we can create an army of flying sharks. Or again, it's something that's good that we can cycle it early on to draw a card and get a body as well. This definitely is Shark Typhoon is an example of a card that if it can work well early, like real early to mid, or towards the late game. So that's why it's a good fit for this deck. Command the Dreadhorde. There was a version that I had modified of the standard version of this deck where I was running the Black Bond that is basically a fusion, I think, of Golgari and Rakdos from War of the Spark. And that bond allowed you to reanimate a creature from your graveyard and give it haste to strike right away. And I was going along the lines of Shark Typhoon, playing like Titanic's Rex, the black cycling creature, they cycled for Death Touch, that were these creatures that were big bodies that I could cycle early on to then reanimate with haste. Going into the Brawl version, I'm thinking, well, I want to do a reanimation idea, sounds great, and then I came across Command the Dreadhorde again. So that costs 4 generic black. It's a sorcery. Choose any number of target creature and or planeswalker cards in graveyards. Command the Dreadhorde deals damage to you equal to the whole mana cost of those cards. Put them onto the battlefield under your control. So I'm sacrificing the haste and the fact that I can't, sacrificing the haste, but I get to get multiple permanents out, and I get to put them from either my opponent's graveyard or my graveyard. So I figured this is something that if with Emergent Ultimatum, I can get a lot of value with this. And pair this up, say, with the Great Henge. If they give me those 2 cards, for example, that lets me draw a lot of cards and basically get a dominant board state. Curabest, the Sea God. This is another card from the standard build that it was one of the win cons. It's a saga that has 3 chapters. The first one creates an 8/8 blue Kraken creature with hexproof, which is huge. It makes it hard for our opponents to interact with our creature. The second chapter taps all non-land permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So that kind of clears the way for us to hit our opponent with our 8/8. And then the third chapter is to gain control of target permanent and opponent controls, untap it. So that lets us now, again, take away something that's good from our opponent and use it to us to help defeat them. Now, with Curabest the Sea God, these are counters. Proliferate lets you put additional counters on things. So what you would do is you would search for this with Plain White Celebration and maybe a Planeswalker, and maybe they don't want you to have the Planeswalker, you'll get these 2. You would stack it so that you would put the Plain White Celebration on the stack first, choose Proliferate twice, and then I would say a different mode for the other 2, and then put Curabest the Sea God. This way, when the stack resolves, Curabest the Sea God is on the battlefield, so it puts 1 counter on it. Then Plain White Celebration resolves, proliferates something with permanent counters on it twice, so we get chapters 2 and 3 at the same time, and so that's how you would work that out. And then let me see where we go. So here's one of the basically ways we kind of win with the game. One of the combo cards that works with a lot of the deck. plain white celebration. 5 generic, green, green. It's a sorcery. Choose 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. So it can be easier to read. Create a 2/2 citizen creature token that's all colors. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Proliferate. You gain 4 life. The most common mode we're going to choose is Proliferate. We usually search up plain white celebration with some planeswalkers or Cure Best of Sea God. And we're going to try to proliferate to the point where we can ultimate our Saga or our planeswalkers. The other abilities that are useful: return target permanent card. It lets us bring back creatures from our graveyard. We can gaining the life sometimes can be relevant when we're low on the life. And the creature token can be useful too. All modes you will find uses for, but the most common one you're going to probably use is the Proliferate with the combo and have that combo off whatever other card you chose with Emergent Ultimatum. So, some of the combos that are popular I'm going to go with Emergent Ultimatum that I would try to go for. Basically, plain white celebration with 2 planeswalkers. Again, like I was saying, you're going to proliferate there and ultimate your planeswalkers if you can. Because basically what you're presenting to your opponent is 2 planeswalkers, which in this case would be Liliana and the mono green Garruk and plain white celebration. So they either are going to choose to put plain white celebration into your deck, and therefore you now have 2 planeswalkers in play, or they're going to most likely, I think, take Liliana, put Liliana back. Maybe they don't know what other creatures you have in your deck, or they're not thinking Garrick's that much of a threat, but then you have Garruk, and all of a sudden that lets you then cheat out Agent of Treachery. Again, or you could do plain white celebration, a planeswalker, and Cure Best of Sea God, and if they give you, again, they'll either give you planeswalker plus plain white celebration, which means instant ultimate from your planeswalker, or if they give you plain white celebration with Kiora, you'll have an 8/8. All their opponents will be tapped and won't on tap, or their non-land permanents will be tapped and not on tap in next turn, as well as one of their permanents. Or you'll have a planeswalker and Cure Best of Sea God, and you'll still have more things in play that are hard to deal with than your opponent. Some of the Q combos that I have involve Clackbridge Troll. So Clackbridge Troll, which has haste, plus a Massacre Girl, you can stack it so that Clackbridge, you put Massacre Girl on, you say she's going to cast her first, then the Troll. Troll will resolve, put 3 0/1s into play, then Massacre Girl comes into play. She'll give everything -1/-1, which will kill the 3 trolls, which now will basically give everything -4/-4, which may either wipe the whole board and you don't get your Clackbridge Troll, or it'll wipe enough of your opponent's stuff that it's a free attack for the Clackbridge Troll. Yes, it'll be at reduced power because he'll also be seeing the -1/-1s, but I think that's a cute one. Another one with the Clackbridge Troll would be Massacre Wurm. You stack it so that you put the Worm on the stack first, then you put the Troll in. Troll resolves, gives your opponent 3 1/0/1 tokens, and then the Massacre Wurm comes into play, and killing those tokens, your opponent now loses 6 life, and now they have to decide whether they're going to sack another creature to lose another 2 life to tap the Troll, or take an attack of an 8/8 and try to block it. Other combos involve Spark Double. That one's kind of straightforward. If you grab Spark Double, and again, me personally, I would probably pair it with either Agent of Treachery or Massacre Wurm, because now you either get steal 2 things which your opponent doesn't want, or you're going to give everything -4/-4 on just your opponent's side of the field, and that would that can definitely do a lot of damage. You should be able to kill a good number of creatures and deal damage to your opponent's life total that way. You could also go with Spark Double into the Planeswalkers so that you get 2 of the same kind. That's another way of getting some value. And those are kind of the more obvious ones that I like to use against my opponents. I'm sure there are times, some situations, I try to think of what do I need most right now. If I'm low on life, I might go with Plain White Celebration, the Great Henge, and maybe Taste of Death. This way then they're not sure what they're trying to go here. I can kill some things, gain some life with the food tokens, and they'll either give me gain 16 life for the Plain White Celebration if I need it, or they'll give me a Great Henge, and I can start tapping for some life. One thing I just want to go over real quick will be the mana base. Again, so in case you haven't seen my other videos, one of the things I like to do with 3-color decks, where right now, while we're in this current standard format before the Ravnica sets rotate out, is I'm a fan of the Plaza of Harmony. Plaza of Harmony enters the battlefield. You control 2 or more gates. You gain 3 life. That's a bonus. It's not what we're actually striving for. It's more the second mana effect. Add 1 mana of any type that a gate you control could produce. If you have 2 gates in play at any point in the game and Plaza of Harmony, you just create another command tower. Command tower is something that we should all be playing. If you're not running if you're a monocolored deck, you don't run command tower. But if you're anything but a monocolored deck, you should be playing command tower to help mana fix. It's one of the best lands, if not the best land in the format for letting you cast your spells. So if we can create a second one via Plaza of Harmony, and since we're ramping, I'd rather go by playing the guild gates to get there faster, and that's why I chose to play circuitous route in the deck. So that primarily will try to search out for my guild gates, since the lands it's searching for, whether they're guild gates or whether they're basic lands, will come into play tapped, and guild gates come into tap regardless. Other than that, the one tricolor, the Triome, the Zagoth Triome, either cycling or it gives us all our colors. Fabled Passage, because it's a better version of Evolving Wilds. I'm not actually sure why I chose not to play Evolving Wilds in here, but I think my reason is that I have enough between Circuitous Route, Cultivate, and Migration Path, and a Solemn Simulacrum, that I have enough things that are searching for basics. There are 5 forests in the deck. For some reason, there's a graphical glitch where if these specific foiled land or alternate art forests, that it's not showing the count, but there is 5 of them in the deck. So I do have a total of 11 basics, but I just felt like playing Evolving Wilds, I had enough, ended up coming to play tap lands, and I had enough mana searchers spells that I didn't want to have. I wanted to have enough basics to be able to search up. And then I have Field of Ruin to deal with Field of the Dead, and I have Field of the Dead because I'm a 3-color deck, and I have enough. I have more than 7 names in my land slot. Hello and welcome to Game 1. We are playing against Nigozan, piloting a Teysa Karlov deck, which is a black-white commander that wants to build double effects on death triggers, or it could be a token-based strategy since tokens get lifelink and vigilance. I have Island, Watery Grave. I got 3 lands. I usually want a little more ramp in my hand, so even though the mana is nice, I'm going to do a free mulligan here. There we go. Okay, I got a Growth Spiral. I only got 2 lands, but my opponent's going first, so I get to draw an extra card. I'm going to keep this. I also have a Pestilent Haze, so again, if they stick with playing a lot of small things early on, there's our 3rd land. Great. So we'll lead up with the Triome. And then we're probably going to play next turn the Island, wait till their turn, and on the end of my opponent's turn, cast the Swamp. Alright, Arcane Signet from our opponent. They have Plains and Swamp out. Ooh. Alright, this is always the question I always ask myself. Which is better to play? Am I better playing out a Growth Spiral or playing out the Paradise Druid? I always feel like... I think I'm going to play out the Paradise Druid. My reason being is that she's kind of acting as a 3rd land right now. So if I were to Growth Spiral and bring in the Swamp, I need to draw a 4th land to cast a 4-drop. Alright, and I got there. Okay. But if by playing the... if I play out Paradise Druid, I can confidently cast something on 4. Yeah, there's no point in playing the Pestilent Haze. It just kills my thing. I'm just going to pass the turn. Maybe let them think I'm holding up a counter spell. Alright, Fabled Passage. Probably going to search up a white source. It is a little regrettable that we have another swamp in my hand, so much that I always try to play with decks that have Field of the Dead in there, trying to get different names intentionally, because having the same name card makes it very difficult, or makes it that much longer it takes to turn on Field of the Dead. Alright, we're going to take 4 here from our opponent. He gave used the white to give it Vigilance. Let's Growth Spiral. And there's Field of the Dead. And that comes into play tapped automatically. We will put that in that way. Alright, so now we're up to 6. I cannot cast the Great Henge. I could cast Yarok, and or I could cast Thassa. I am tempted to play Taste of if I play Taste of Death, he will get 2 tokens. But he'll get 4 tokens, I mean. But then the Haze can take care of it next turn. So I think I'm going to go with the Taste of Death here. This way, his commander will cost 2 more, which he is 1 land away from getting to. And now the trigger will go off Afterlife 2 times, so it'll be 4 1/1 tokens. Again, those will be easily dealt with the Pestilent Haze. My opponent may consider, okay, they're going to play Teysa again, so he's going to gain 4 life since they have Vigilance and Lifelink. Alright, so, did not draw the next land. Let's play out the Pestilent Haze like we said. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Okay, we will end the turn. And this gives us some land, so we can gain some life off a food token next turn. Probably will not be able to play Kogla. I think my Gideon Blackblade. Okay. Probably going to give Teysa life, Priest of the Forgotten God. Okay, that makes things interesting. He's got 2 cards in hand.
I will lend you my strength.
So I would like to play Yarok next turn, just to be able to use my mana. However, I have to be aware if he's playing 2 more creatures out, that Priest of the Forgotten God could... Okay. Alright, so we have... I feel like I almost want to force him to have 2 more creatures and sacrifice Priest of the Forgotten God. Or I could play out Thassa. I'm thinking I could play out Thassa, and at least, and then gain life. I think. Let me see what he has. I'm gonna go with Yarok. One of the ideas I've talked about in previous games, and I'm still liking the idea of, I know my opponent can get rid of Yarok, but I'd rather he get rid of Yarok, which is a resource that, yes, it'll cost 2 more, but I'll have him go back to the command zone. I can recast him, as opposed to playing out something else and losing that creature that I could have played instead. Alright, so now he gets rid of his general. He'll draw 4 cards? Yeah, 4 cards now. Alright. We'll put him into the command zone. Alright, Liliana's up to 7. Alright, Gideon's probably going to hit me for 4. This game may not be going that well for us. Alright. And now he has active for the -6 ability. He has a second ability that not really seen a lot. Exile target non-land permanent. Alright. I'm going to start by playing Llanowar Visionary out. To try to draw some cards. We'll draw 1 card if we get a land. We did not get the land. We have one of the lands so I could play out Thassa Deep-Seated, but we will use the Cultivate to try to get a little bit further ahead. I think we have all my basics out, so I'm going to get a few more. I'm going to get 2 more forests, because I got triple black, I got double blue. I'm going to get to 2 forests just this way that I know for a certainty that I have the mana in case we draw Emergent Ultimatum to be able to cast it.
That's enough.
What does my opponent have in his graveyard? He has nothing that's small. Okay. So I'm assuming he's probably going to now -2. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. He's going to plus that. We'll use Priest of the Forgotten God. Probably get rid of Teysa and the zombie. So I have to sacrifice my creature. Oh no, he's going to be attacking. Maybe he's going to get sacrificed Sacra? Teysa? I would have thought he would use the god. Alrighty. I feel like, what does this have? This has Indestructible and Lifelink. If I take 7, I'm going to lose the, I think he'll just make me lose the creature. If I can't kill Luris, I might as well try and block more of the damage. So, let's see. We got Plaza of Harmony. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands. Alrighty. So we're at 9 life. I could play the Great Henge, but I think I'm dead between 4, 6, 8. I could play the Plain White Celebration and gain a bunch of life. I could play Kogla. The only problem is, in response, I would probably fight the Priest of the Forgotten God and force him to use it. That gets rid of 2 creatures, would probably be the token and maybe Teysa, which gets 7 on board, and I still lose 2 life, so it probably would kill me. So we'll go with the Plain White Celebration. I'm gonna go with, oh actually, let me view the battlefield. What do I have in my graveyard? Nothing big to get back. Alright, I got one time to review the browser. Alright, so let's go with gain 12 life, gain 8 life, and let's create 2 tokens. And that leaves me with 2 mana left open that I can gain some more life. Pass. And pass.
That's enough.
Alright. Liliana's starting to look very scary at the moment. A Murderous Shredder will be really clutch at the moment. Bolus's Citadel. Alright, how many permanents my opponent has? Is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This makes 9. You can play one more out, try to attack. Oh, Grey Merchant. Alright, I think he might have me right now. Let's see, I'm down to 6. He can sacrifice the 10. I pay the 3, I gain 3 life. Let's see what my opponent does. Does he see the win? Order of Midnight. Okay. So he doesn't see that he has it. He also may just try to swing and then finish me off that way. I mean, again, he also started at 40 life the turn, so why not just play everything out? Pass. Pass the blockers. Probably drew a land. The 2 life. Is it worth blocking there to lose the creature? Make him draw more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, I'm going to block this just so it decreases the amount of permanents. He has to pay more of his life to play things out. Not that it's that difficult for my opponent, but I feel like being able to not have the permanents in play at the moment. Alright, so now he's got back up to 10. Order of Midnight. I guess he wants to sacrifice creatures? Still waiting for that Bolus activation. Is he selecting things now for the Bolus? Alright, creature you control. Guys, resolve, resolve, resolve. Waiting to see how much life we lose again off this one. Lose 2 life. Alright, I'm going to lose the 2 life. Now let's see what he comes up with. Alright, that's whenever a creature dies. Alright, so there we go. Corpse Knight, there we go. I don't think you have a sacrifice trigger in play other than... okay, cool. Good game. Okay, that one didn't go as well as I was hoping for. Probably was a little too slow to start off with. Hello and welcome to game number 2. We are playing against Keeganomics, piloting a Vivian Arcbow Ranger. I believe this is the 3-cost Vivian from War of the Spark. It's mono green. Let me double check and find out actually. Yes, oh no, it's the one from M20. Okay. Alright, so what do we got here? We got 3 lands, a Wolf Willow Haven, a Circuitous Route. 4 lands, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep this. This deck is very greedy on the mana base. And they're accelerating fast too, so I'm expecting an early questing beast for my opponent. Excuse me, sorry about all the indigestion at the moment. Alright, we're going to lead off with the Castle Vantress. This is going to come into play tapped. Next turn, lead off play the Command Tower. Enchant the Vantress with Wolf Hollow. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so now we have a multicolor land, 2 multicolor lands in play now. I really hope I draw an untapped land. Ooh, dang. I guess so. Alright, if I can draw an untapped land, that'd be really great right about now. Overgrown Tomb. Okay, good. Alright. So that gives us 4 mana. We'll pay the 2 life. We want to get to black. We have black, because we want to get to a Massacre Girl if we can, because with 1, 2, 3, we could wipe their board potential really quickly. So Circuitous Route, we'll search up 2 more gates. Golgari Gate and the Simic Gate. Alright, so now we have all our colors. We should be able to cast anything now we ever draw in our deck. This also puts us up to 6 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Endraiser. Oh my. Are we dead? Oh, moly. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really wish now that I would be able to use double up Massacre Girl. Let's see, that tramples. Let's see, so we're going to kill, so 1, we're not going to kill the Endraiser. It's 4/4. This is most likely game, but let's get the Massacre Girl out. Creates the food token. It's down to 2 lands. Go through all the animations. It's not going to be enough to kill the Endraiser, unfortunately. We're not dead. Again, we're not dead just yet. Okay, now we're dead between the Questing Beast and the Nissa. Good game. That was fast. I'm just going to wait for the password to take the damage. There's no point blocking there. And I think it's always fun when the guys see how negative your life total can get. Either way, whether you're dealing the damage or you're receiving the damage. Even though I had fun with that. Even though I was fast and I lost, that was not. I wasn't expecting to be that fast of a start. All right, our opponent. Hello and welcome to game number 3. Playing against Puff Howdy, playing in a Luna Apex of Wishes deck, which is a rug color, so red, blue, and green, with Mutate. That lets you put things into play, permanents into play, free off the top. Non-land permanents into play off the top. We only have 2 lands here. I'm going to mulligan this hand, take the free mulligan here. 3 land, Extinction Event, Clackbridge Troll, and a Circuitous Route. I feel like keeping this. I feel like we're going second. We should be able to draw our 4th land in time, which should hopefully deal with whatever our opponent plays out early on. Ooh, Emergent Ultimatum. Alrighty, so we have that now. would have liked to have drawn it later, but we have it. We have something to build towards now. Scavenging Ooze. So I'm actually building up. I have my own Luna Apex of Wishes deck that I'm waiting to show you guys. I want to work out a few kinks on how I present and make my videos. But it's definitely a deck, enters tap for the Watery Grave, that I'm looking forward to filming and bringing to you guys. Alright. A Steam Fence and tap. We take 2 damage from the Scavenging Ooze. Have not drawn that 4th land yet. Let's see if Uro can get us, bring us home. Counterspell? They don't know we're missing the land. Oh, they got a quench. Okay. Alright, can we draw a land that comes into play untapped next turn? Solemn Simulacrum. Alright, they're searching for a basic land. They got a green source. Okay. You need double blue if you're going to mutate on. Oh man, we're hitting all the high stuff right now. This is not good. Oh boy. Well, if we draw the 4th land, we could name evens. And unfortunately, Luna's odd. Beanstalk. They're trying to. So we're hoping for a 4th land that comes into play untapped. Therefore, we can name even. There's nothing on their board, so they have to wait a turn before they can use Luna's ability to get free permanents into play. There goes our Uro. Oh man, this is rough. Alright, we're going to go... I need a discard after this. Alright, next turn. Well, I'm going to play it out. Give up Kiora. Look, it's not looking good, but they don't have lethal yet either. And that's why I discarded the Kiora, because this way then, if I discard Agent of Treachery, they are just going to exile it and put up another +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze. Now again, I maybe have counter spells up. It's at least one of the things of having double blue up. Alright, he's just casting it. Alrighty. Which makes me think that he has cards in hand that are cheaper to mutate onto. Maybe like an Otter, for example. So at this point, I would say we have to go with... I'm going to go with Extinction Event. And I'm going to name Even. We might have a counter spell to protect. Alright, I don't think he has the counter spell now. 5. He can just recast the commander and probably kill me more next turn. 9. Yeah, so I have to go with even here. Because if I were to get rid of a Luna, next turn he just mutates onto Scavenging Ooze. That's 6/6 plus the 3 counters he would keep, plus the 2. That puts in the 9 plus the 2. So, alright. He can swing an overhead. That doesn't get me out of this. I think he has it. Let's play out Yarok, though. It has lifelink. So it's entirely possible. I could have. The other possibility I could have done would be to pass the turn. Thorn Mammoth. Alright, there goes Yarok. I do gain the life, but I'm still dead because he now has 14 power in play. Good game. Ah, man. Really hoping to have gotten that 4th land in time. Because I have a Wolf Willow Haven I can ramp onto a Field of the Dead. Excuse me. I'm going to lead off a Field of the Dead. Alright, they played Forest and a Mountain. We're going to play a Command Tower now. I'm going to put this on the Field of the Dead just so it creates green mana. And I know Field of the Dead is a high value target, so I am possibly putting my lands into risk. Alright, Garrick's Harbinger. Well, I can't eliminate that. Let's see, we'll play out the Swamp. Let's play out a Llanowar Visionary. What do we draw? We draw a Circuitous Route. Alright, so I have the decision to make. Do I want to block and prevent my opponent from drawing more or getting another creature into their hand? Or do I want to go with the ramp? He did not attack. Okay. I guess he's shy on lands. Alright. I'm just gonna hit you then with Kogla. So the reason why I think Kogla, I think the fight is good. They were tapped out. And now when I attack, I will be able to get in with and destroy the enchantment. Alright. So we overwhelm them with a Great 8. Hello and welcome to game number 5. We're playing against Vanir, piloting a Vivien Monsters Advocate. This is the Vivien Planeswalker card from Ikoria. It's 3 green. Usually this one's known for making 3/3 beast tokens with a different ability counter on them. We have 3 lands, blue and a green at least, and a growth spiral, and a solemn and a Llanowar Visionary. I'm going to keep this hand. Alrighty, so let's start off with the island. Then we'll probably play the forest, growth spiral into our 3rd land. Alright, looks like we might be running some problems again with maybe drawing some lands to get to where we're going, but I feel like we're better equipped. Beast Whisperer. So this is a mono green deck. It looks like it's going to be playing a lot of creatures. Alright. Let's play the growth spiral out now. Okay. If we can draw a swamp right now. No. If we drew a swamp naming evens, that would definitely put a big hurting on our opponent. As it is, I'm going to start by leading off with a Llanowar Visionary to draw a card. And we'll probably now play the Field of the Dead, since I don't have anything I can cast for 1 mana. Alright, we are sorely lacking black mana at the moment. So we'll have 6 mana available to us next turn. That's an odd casting cost. 4th War. Blocking here. We don't have the black, so I'm going to go with no blocks. Okay. So here's a decision we have to make. We have 6 mana available to us. If I play out 3 with the Cultivate, if I play out the Cultivate, I get I'll have spend 3. I'll have a land I still play from hand. I'll have 3 mana left over. Or I can play a Solemn Simulacrum, get another creature out to help block and possibly draw me a card. I think we're going to go with the Cultivate so I can get my double black going. And then if they play a Questing Beast out, I will be able to wipe the board. 1 black into play. Let's play the swamp since they know I have it. No attacks. Alright. So I expect maybe the Commander they'll play right now. The Great Henge. That's a good one. And they play their own Llanowar Visionary. Okay. Alright. That's also an odd one. It's a 3/3, gets all the bonuses. Alright, Yorvo's probably just moving me for 5. Is the mana worth keeping again? I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana left. No blocks. I'm going to take the hit. This way then I can at least cast 2 spells next turn. Alright, so let's play the green. Let's start by playing that. And then let's cast an Extinction Event naming even, because the ramp and the card draw I think are more devastating to worry about. And then I would say I'd rather I'm not sure actually. Do I want to get I think maybe the better bet, do I want to get more lands? I'm short on blue, I'm short on, I don't instantly agree. I'm going to go with the Solemn here as opposed to the Thassa. I think having the blocker out and getting the land out of my library is better. I'm going to get myself another island. Alternatively, I could play it out Thassa, bounce the Land of War Visionary to draw another card. To me, it's, again, it's tomato. You're kind of getting the similar results depending on either way that I play. I could have cast the Migration Path and gotten more lands, but I would have thinned out the deck by 2 more cards, but if this was a circuitous route, I maybe would have considered playing that instead of the Solemn Simulacrum, because that would have let me search for 2 more, look for 2 gates, which would then give me 2 more different named lands in play, turning on Land of the Dead, and possibly giving me 2 more tokens. Alright, so I'm hoping my... Okay. My opponent's... Alright, so I was... Oh boy. Alright. So I was hoping my opponent would only keep 3 creatures so I could use Taste of Death next turn. I definitely think we're going to block the 7 here. Block. I'm going to draw my card, take the action. I have Eliminate. Ritual of Soot would deal with the whole board, actually. Okay, that's a good use. So let's tap the Visionary. Oh, actually, wait a sec. Do I have enough black? Black. No, I don't have enough black in order to use both the Clockbridge Troll and the Ritual of Soot. That would have been nice. Alright, so let's just wipe the board real quick. Alright, with my 5 mana left, I could play out Thassa, start doubling up some effects. I think we'll use the Migration Path here to ramp out. Let's search for a black and a green. Alright, so we have, I think only 2 more basics left. So I'm hoping... Endraiser. Oh boy. Questing Beast, because that has haste as well. That would put the 6 and 7 as 13. Aw, man. So it's possible I should have made blocked earlier, so I wouldn't have taken the damage. Oh, man. Alright, good game. Hello, and welcome to game number 6. We're playing against Jubil, piloting a Kenrith the Returned King deck. This is a 5-color commander, even though he costs white in the mana cost. This will be, there's a couple different builds of Kenrith. Not entirely sure what we're going to see. Usually a lot of good stuff. This hand has a lot of ramp, but no real action. I'm hesitant to mulligan, but I want a combination of... If these were just a little bit different things that I could be ramping into. I'm going to take the free mulligan. See, this is kind of similar, but so it's not, there's no ramp, but at least I can either draw cards, I can get a Solemn out, I can work towards a Massacre Wurm. I like this one more, so I'm going to keep this. We're going to start off with the Golgari Guildgate, since that land always has to come into play tapped. Let's say hello to our opponent. Okay, let us go with a Watery Grave now. We'll enter that, enters tapped. There's nothing to do on 2. Opponent played a Zagoth Triome. Let's see, now they have the Shock Land. Are they casting anything? Paradise Druid, okay. We will now play an Overgrown Tomb for 3. Enter that, have that enter play tapped. So they'll have 4 mana this turn. I'm expecting a ramp spell, a 4-cost ramp spell from them. Smothering Tithe, that's an offbeat one. Unfortunately, we can't afford to be paying, so we are going to decline. This is definitely a good card for them because let more they draw and we don't pay, they'll have more extra mana to use abilities from Kenrith. So like next turn if they play a land, they could play Kenrith and give them haste and start attacking in. Alright, so let's bleed off playing a Solemn. Alright, so we have triple black, which is good. Usually when I'm searching, I'm going to always search for the green to make sure I have that color kind of taken care of. Since Emergent Ultimatum has 3 green, so now I have my 3 green. Well, even if I were to keep looking for green, I would free up one of my green-black lands as a black source. Sanctum of All. Alright, cool. So we're playing one of the decks that plays Shrines. That's, okay, that's a little not as mean. Resolve. We will decline. They'll get another mana. They're actually short on lands. Okay. So... And we... Oh, no, we're not. Okay. So we could play a Massacre Girl out, but we would just lose our field. We could play a Clackbridge Troll. I like the idea of trying to set up here. So we'll play the Troll out this turn. Try to make it seem we want to be aggressive. They're probably going to sacrifice a creature and let us draw a card. We'll gain some life off of this, and that's why they're letting us draw the card. We'll swing in with the Solemn. And good. This could backfire against me for a library card or shrine card put on the battlefield. My first gut is they're probably going to go for the red one or the black one. Blue one to draw cards. Okay. Well, we have the Ritual Soot, which is good. That will kill it. The moment we clear most of the things on their side of the field, leaving them to decide whether they want to keep their one big thing. They discarded Uro. Okay. So they have blue, they have green. Oh, they have blue, red, white, black, green. So they could play Kenrith and activate the the red ability, the red and a green ability. I'm hoping that they don't know what we're up to. Casualties of War. Darn it. Take the action. Can't pay. Alright, so maybe I did get a little greedy. I should have played out the Massacre Wurm at least to leave a... make sure they have nothing on their side of the field. Decline. Can't do anything. Alright, go with a Massacre Girl. To wipe the board. Alrighty, they're searching for another shrine. Black shrine, so now they're going to draw 3 cards, discard 1, and recomment, and I lose 3 life, they gain 3 life. I play a Plains, now comes out Kenrith with 6 mana left to my opponent. Alrighty. What is the best? I don't know. Kenrith has a whole host of abilities on him. Graveyard about under its owner's control, so he probably won't be using that for me. Alrighty. We drew Kogla, which is nice, but we can't cast him. Anything we can cast right now, I think I gotta decline. Let's see now. Spark Double, I could definitely hit it. Okay, so I think we're gonna swing in for 4 here. Because we can attack. He can't block. Again, this maybe is a mistake. I do tend to be maybe more aggressive in the face of the unknown. He could probably play any sort of creatures right now, like an Uro, and give it haste. I don't have any blue. Yep, okay, so I forgot he killed my blue source, so I was going to... I was thinking attacking and casting Reign of Revelation. Alright, so maybe that attack was ill-advised. I'm going to lose... He's going to search, I guess, now for get the white one now, which will allow him to tap down any blockers I have. So it's probably a good thing I attack. I'm going to lose 4 life. He's going to draw 4, discard 1. I mean, it'd be cool if we discarded the big creature to reanimate. Nope. Okay. Okay. He's not playing. He's just going to with. I think is he just going to pump with the green ability because I think it's 2 to cost. I mean, that's what I would think if you want to keep your hand full so you don't expose too much of yourself. Huh. I don't understand why he brought the creature back. Vanishing Light, okay. Go to my turn. Finally, a blue source, Resolve. Alright, decline. This does get to be a little bit tricky here. He cannot make Kenrith indestructible. He does have more than enough mana to recast it and give things haste to kill me. So Garrick killing Kenrith is more of an inconvenience than anything. Kogla could cast Kogla, but he'll probably just give Kenrith enough +1/+1 counters to survive. I am a little bit at my wit's end here. I definitely think affecting the board is a good thing. Excuse me, I think I'm going to force them to use their mana. Let's go with Massacre Wurm. At least this way then, I can at least get rid of one creature. I did not, I missed that, yep. So, Garrick probably was my best bet there then. Alrighty, Sanctum of All. Sanctum of Called Mourners draws. Oh, sorry. I just got mesmerized with all of the Sanctums that were going on. I haven't seen that really go off like that. I'm going to say good game. I don't know how he's going to kill me, but I think it's pretty... deal discard a land card, target creature or planeswalker. Oath of Kaya. There we go. Okay. Good game. Okay, so... Alright, we played 6 games. I believe we won one of them. I will start keeping better track of my wins, losses. But I think the one game was probably more to our opponent's mana screw than us doing anything. So I hope you saw the deck did some cool things. Probably not as much as I would have liked. We drew the Emergent Ultimatum a couple times, but was unable to actually cast it and show off some of those combos. This is a deck that I still enjoy playing. It's possible that I may try playing this again for you guys in a future video, because to me this is still a fun deck, and maybe I'll play it out one more time before make a video of this one more time before rotation happens to give Yarok a little bit of a send off. All right. If you like today's video, please click the thumbs up icon down below. If you want to get notified whenever I post new videos, please hit the subscribe icon, hit the subscribe button, and punch the bell icon. If you want, you please leave a comment on either my gameplay, card ideas you might have that might be, or card combos for Emergent Ultimatum that might be fun to put in this deck. I'm also looking forward to new ideas on how to improve the channel. I recently just bought a graphics card for an upgraded graphics card for my computer, so that hopefully the gameplay looked a lot smoother than the last few videos have been. So again, I'm still starting out, so any suggestions on how to improve the quality of my videos or improve the channel would be greatly appreciated. As always, thanks for visiting the Batcave, and have a great day.